Ladies, gentlemen, boys, and girls, we're live, rock and rolling Thursday. So we're going to do a market recap. So we're going to break down the dollar. Then we're going to go into, we'll do the US dollar, Japanese yen, Bitcoin, the S&P, the NASDAQ, Grandpa Dow, and the Russell. And we'll touch on some of the big tickers, see how they did today. Yesterday, we went into pure panic mode. And I got a little bit poorer. I did go short the U.S. dollar, Japanese yen, and it did go up today. So I did tag out. I tried. I tried to catch that knife. I, I did. I wanted it to turn around, but it didn't. Right now, the dollar is just too strong. I don't know if I want to get in it long. If it pulls back and makes a higher low, I probably will. Right now, I'm just not in any forex plays. Look at the U.S. dollar, Japanese yen. I just couldn't help myself. It was right there inside that zone, but I did actually keep it tight, right above this previous one, and it was a lowercase L. Okay, it wasn't a capital L. It was a lowercase L. So there's that. It's an L for a reason, though. All right, moving on to Bitcoin, because this is going over the Bitcoin, the S&P, the NASDAQ. Yesterday, we went to panic mode. Now, we went into panic mode because there were supposed to be 4 rate cuts next year. Powell said, turns out there's actually only going to be 2. And a lot of people thought that's a sign of something's up. Now, that's a lot of uncertainty because Powell said, oh, it's a soft landing. We nailed it. We were prepared for this. And a lot of people were buying stuff in the market like things were fine, sunshine and rainbows. Turns out that was not the case. What the market doesn't like is uncertainty. They like the fact that every report that came out that said, we're good, we got this, tools in the belt. You've heard Powell say the same thing over and over again. Market finally started to believe it, and then they kind of walked that back as far as expectations go. So everyone, I wouldn't say they panicked. I would say there's a lot of people that are up a lot of money right now, and they probably just either locked it in. Yeah, I would have to say most of that was probably profit taking. I bet a lot of people didn't want to take profits. They would probably rather push it off until January 1st so they can put on the next tax year. But given that, there was a couple big sell orders. We got outside some standard deviations. So now market makers had to jump into the mix and possibly cause like that vacuum down to like 2 standard deviations that some was going to. But overall, in the grand scheme of things, like we talked about yesterday, the warning sign that we got yesterday was kind of how fast and how we've seen pullbacks of this magnitude before. In the grand scheme, that pullback is quite literally nothing. I mean, here was yesterday's absolute panic mode. What if I told you to buy Bitcoin at $67,000? But here's the kicker. It's going to go to 108 and pull back to 97. What are your thoughts? Not one person would turn that down. If I said, hey, I got to tell you the future, but you can't exit because then people will know I'm giving you the future secrets until it pulls back to 97. Of course you're doing that. And you're probably still holding because who cares about that? Pullback's absolutely negligible. What did inspire the panic was the speed and rate at which it happened. And that's why when I went live last night, I was talking about let's see if we chill out today. I said today we could chop down, we could chop up, we can go sideways, we can kind of just chop around, but we need to settle down, and it's probably more along the dip buy side of things. If we were to match yesterday's energy today, then the crash is starting. And I've talked about a crash. I want to say maybe October is when I started talking about it. For sure, November. Again, I actually still think it's going to be March of next year. But yesterday, I did have a lot of people asking, is it here? Is it now? Is the crash in the room with us? And after today's price action, I don't think so. I kind of think January will be at least a little bullish, if not roaring. I don't want to give anybody FOMO or anything. But for now, I wouldn't go betting the farm. I would just be on the dip buy side of things as shorter term swing trades. Intraday stuff is just kind of day trading. That's case by case. But I didn't want to delete this channel down yet. Breaking this channel down means absolutely nothing. It means nothing if you know nothing about technical analysis. This channel up is cool. A channel up is higher highs and higher lows. Let's delete that. What do we still have? A higher high and a higher low. So the channel up is still there. It just wasn't as clean if I can just draw an actual parallel lines on it. If we bounce right here, still in channel up, everything's fine. It was the dip buy. Now, we're going to break down the futures market as well. We're going to have the same conversation. If this bounces, what I am looking for is not a new high. We could bounce up, be pretty bullish, and kind of get up here, get to that 105, 106. Still not a new high. And if we roll over at that point, what we'll end up doing is setting in a low. And what I'm watching right now, and this is Bitcoin, S&P, the NASDAQ. That's it, because the other one's already down. Every time we put in a higher low, think of that wrench, like an actual wrench. If you've ever worked with tools, it just makes that click noise. It doesn't go back. Every higher low we put in now is one more click on that wrench. And when that low breaks, that's when we'll be talking about things trending down. Zilvin I'm butchering that name, says it crashed. What crashed? Just so you don't say anything like that ever again, this is for everybody. Here's the actual definitions, so you can sound smart in all the discords. A pullback, 0 to 9%. A correction, 10 to 19%. A crash, 20% or more. Oh, I even referenced knowing how to work with tools. And I said wrench. It is a ratchet. That's completely my bad. 97,000 for a one coin? Yes. You don't have to buy a whole coin. I wish people would stop talking about that. You can literally just put in $20 worth. Okay? You'll get a fraction of it. That's it. The amount of people that don't buy Bitcoin because they can't afford a whole coin, so then they go out and buy something silly like Hawk Tuah coin or Pepe coin. I don't care if you made money on it. You didn't make money on Hawk Tuah coin, but silly, right? That's like saying I don't want a part of the Mona Lisa. In fact, what I can't afford is that kindergarten's little marker color page. I'll take that instead. And I'll try to sell it on eBay for something. Now let's talk about the next stops. If this does break, honestly, I think if today's low breaks, then right now I do think the next stop would be about that 92,000 mark. In fact, this whole channel up, if I'm going to be catching knives on Bitcoin, I would not really catch the knife until 86,000. That's just me personally. So we zoomed up into this, and then we kind of had this channel up where the kind of momentum slowed down. If we melt and send it, we could get a decent bounce at this one. Actually, all three of these yellow zones could get a decent bounce. Me personally, it would need to be here. At that point, we might be a little oversold for the current conditions. And at that point, at least a dead cat bounce or some kind of pop. I would rather that to get my stop in the green. For the record, though, I don't trade Bitcoin. I just buy it. I buy it every week. My goal is to have, and it's been this way for years, 20 coins, and I want to sell them at $1 million. By the time it gets to $1 million, that plan may change, but we'll cross that bridge when we get there. For now, 20 coins, $1 million. Let's see. Bitcoin dust. Exactly. Call it Bitcoin dust. Just don't call it too expensive. That's a big flaw I see. Now, at this point, I've helped thousands of people. I have a Patreon for people that like the monthly, right? I have a course. All the YouTubers have it, right? But I've helped thousands of people. And it's literally mind-blowing how many people will buy something cheap because they can afford a certain amount of shares over something better. Like, when Amazon was $3,500, they wouldn't want to buy it because it's too expensive. But they'll buy $3,500 worth of Peloton, right? And then because they can buy it. You're not playing market maker. I promise. Put your money where it counts, not some number you made up in your head. All right, S&P. Yesterday's panic mode ran it all the way into this bottom zone. Today we have a little bit of a bounce. As far as the futures open, they open up right now. We're down, which is fine. When I say fine, if your positions are long, you don't want to see that. But a red candle this size, that's nothing. Especially after this aftershock, you chalk it up to whatever you want. That's nothing. That breaking, this particular low breaking, I'd worry about. This is like ES down here. That would put SPY, somewhere in the 570s. Yeah. Now, most of you guys know the ETF SPY. I don't chart this out. I don't zone it out just because that's silly. But let me pull up the expected moves for you guys so I can show you what I mean by market makers and how we knew this level was going to be there. All right, SPY is 3 down. SPY, 2 standard deviations, 588.61. Where's that at? 588.60. Close enough. Again, inside this range right here, it's you and market movers. Okay, market makers don't know about you, they don't care about you, and they never will. You can write them a strongly worded letter, they probably won't read it. But when we get outside this range, the market makers, they are a neutral delta. That's it. They provide the playing field between you and the market movers. When we get outside here, they're no longer at a neutral delta, which means they have to start delta hedging. And now it's you, the market movers, and the market makers on the playing field. So you're playing chess with somebody. A third person walked up and started moving the pieces. Hopefully it's on your side and not the other guy's side. But tried to rein it back in, and it almost looks like we're going 3 standard deviations. Right now, there is a 95% chance we weren't going to break this. There's a 99% chance we don't break 3 standard deviations. So we're already in the 5% this was even going to happen for the week area. So it doesn't mean anything, but if I had to guess, we probably rein it back in, maybe a little bit more bullish. What about when you get into third? It's all the same. They'll kind of navigate to this zone, or they'll be in the next one. Ready to buy the big red candle. We're here now. I do think I would be, if we're red tomorrow, I'll be bullish over the weekend. Again, you might just show up on Monday and see that I lost a little, made a bunch. Doesn't matter. It probably won't be enough to move the needle. At the end of the year, I'm just not interested in going crazy. The real big money's already gone. They've already started their Christmas break. So I wouldn't worry. NASDAQ, I do think is a knife catch right now. I don't think that's a bad one. Looking at the Qs, haven't quite made it. So all we did was gap up into 1 standard deviation. They're kind of selling back off. Someone asked me about 0 days to expiration. This would be one of those times. Tomorrow morning, I would end up going probably at the money. If we opened up right now we're at 512.60. If this was 8:30 in the morning, options market just opened, I would go long QQQ 513 calls. 0 to hero. There's no stop. There's none of that. It goes up and it makes me money, or it goes away. I don't care about any other opportunity. That's it. And that's the one instance I would play the 0 days to expiration. Does it get more volatile the further from 1 standard deviation you get? It doesn't get more volatile the further you get. It just gets volatile. By the time the market makers enter the space, somebody's already there. Now they're saying like, all right, we're gonna move it to here. We were here. We're gonna move it to here. And if you keep jacking around, then they will move to here. But it's hard to put there's a lot of things that's going to contradict this. We start selling off outside of Vega, panic and emotions kicking in. If all that didn't exist, market makers would come in, start delta hedging. It'd probably go to 2 standard deviations. If everybody's chill and done, it's done. They start sending it any further. Now they got to start delta hedging even more, which is why that volatility, it just enters and it's like a vacuum. It'll just end up sucking up or down. I'm a new investor, and I bought a lot of stuff this morning, like an idiot. You can buy a lot at any time and day. The part that would make you an idiot is buying without a plan. That's it. Every day you should plan for a red candle, a big green candle. Without that, you're just going to you'll be too surprised all the time. So you bought a whole bunch. So right now, we have no idea if tomorrow's going to be bright green, bright red. You can make the best decision with the data you have at that time. That's literally all you can do. The reason why you have stops at a plan is because you think it's going to go this way, but what happens if you're wrong? And you don't want to get screwed. What coin is this? This, my friend, is the NASDAQ coin. Let's check Grandpa Dow. Now, it hasn't seen this red since 1974 or 78, depending on who you ask in the chat. I kept seeing 74 and 78. There was an article that was even posted. It was 78, maybe. Either way, I don't know if this counts. Technically, that's a nothing day. We did nothing. I kind of want to buy it. I do kind of want to catch the knife. That's M for money right there. For everyone on TikTok that's maybe new to me, that's please don't ever buy the M for money thing. That was just made up. What shorts are seeing is actually a W, and it's gonna go. what's funny is there was a conversation that it had not seen this since it was like since 1978, and then when everyone was already thinking that, they blasted it down even further. So, it's definitely a knife catch. We're trending down. I think this one is incredibly oversold, and right now that's why I'm saying bullish. Oversold bounce, a dead cat bounce. There's knife catchers out there. It's at a decent spot, I think. I doubt investors are excited right now. I don't know any investors that just aren't worried about next year right now. Anyone's been in this for a while. So there just hasn't been that urgency like we need to buy this right now. But I gotta say, that doesn't look bad. Let's just grab a now don't let me sell you a position, because this is what I think a lot of content creators do. They come here and just start saying things. And I can make any position look really good. And then you end up buying it tomorrow because you don't know what you're doing. And then you lose money. But that doesn't look bad. Doesn't look like a bad play. It was green today. Was it? Let's zoom in. You guys be the judge. If it's not green, we go back to 1912. Make it green. Guys, like, I got you. We'll open up at 42, 336, and we will close at 42, 340. You good with that, boss? I mean, as long as it's green. It's gotta be the easiest day. He's like, I'm still gonna short it though. It's like, whatever, just make it a green day. Let me look at a couple tickers for you guys real quick. LUXH. Let me try that again. Luxor Hotels. Ooh, what are we looking at this for? Look at LU. I can look at it. We're just gonna watch this thing go to zero. Please don't be new. Please understand. Sometimes I do say things like that, and people do get really mad, especially when their average price is like way up here and they've been holding it forever. If you guys want a quick hack, though, the best advice, if you want to take everything I've learned from the last 12 years of trading, if it goes from the top left to the lower right, don't buy it. If it goes from the bottom left to the upper right, well, it's worth the conversation at that point. Which coin is this? Why does everyone on TikTok keep asking which coin this is? Does all you guys follow just coin people? I'll break down coins, but the watermark is actually right here, LUXH. That's a ticker. It's a stock. Let's see. 1 year ago, $450. Banging it. Probably it wasn't $450. You see this right here? It did a reverse split, a 1 to 70 reverse split, which means it was going to go so low. They're about to delist it off the market. So they split it like a reverse split. So if you had 10 shares, if you had 70 shares, now you have one. And that's all. So it just kind of manipulates the price. Stocks are out. Crap coins are in. They really are. They really are. And actually, if you're brand new to this world, here's my sales pitch for you guys. If you're brand new to this world, I do have a Patreon. I do have a course. The course, if you buy it before Christmas, is lifetime. I will say that. But other than that, subscribing, following, free. There are plenty of people that have learned to do this just by coming to my live streams. I go live to talk to you guys in the chat. So if you've only ever been in a meme coin, a crypto coin, that's some might call it a crap coin, and you had to fight them. If that's all you've ever been, please make sure you stick around for a little bit. There's a lot of things I can answer, probably clear up. And this is something I talked about in a previous video. You get the urge to invest one time in your life. And if you go on there and you follow some dork on the internet or somebody just has no idea what they're talking about and you lose money, it's not, I wouldn't say it's your fault. You didn't know. It was just the blind leading the blind, and you didn't know, and then you lose, and then you never come back. Worst case scenario, your friend tries to come to you and says, hey, I'm getting a stock market. You're the first person to say, it's a scam. Don't do it, because you had a bad experience and you literally know nothing. So please stick around if that is your case. So that's the whole pitch. There's a variety of things, but just make sure you at least jump in the live streams. If you bought something stupid and you lost all your money, you don't need a dime to follow me. But make sure you follow me before you spend another dime and lose it. Yeah, education's huge. This is not something they teach, which is what really annoys me. It really does. Is this Shiba Inu? No. I'm confused. So don't go all in on Fartcoin. You can. There's always someone's like, this guy doesn't know anything. I made 50%. Good. Making money does not mean anything. Making money is actually super easy. It's keeping the money that's the hard part. If you want to brag to me, tell me how you caught the knife but stopped out. Tell me how you trailed and made every dollar that you could out of this thing. Don't tell me you doubled your money on something stupid. That means jack. Repeat that. That's all I'm gonna say. There's a reason Timothy Sykes teaches now, right? Like, now I'm not talking bad about Timothy Sykes. Everybody usually knows him because the millions he made in the stock market. Do it again. Okay, there is a lot that's the right place at the right time, and repeating what you did. Yeah, all of a sudden that conversation stops. If you're not consistent, your home run, cool. You want a digital high five? I'm here for you. There it is. Good job. Do it again. All right. When you can do it again and again, now we're talking. Now you have an extra income. Now your life changes. Don Fron cares. Yeah, don't tell anybody. How about KULR? I got some puts for 50 cents for the 24th. What do I think? 50. You bought the 50-cent strike? You bought way down here? You're going to need a miracle. Did you buy like the $2 one for 50 cents? Do I trade options? Of course. Pablo, I hope you're rich. This looks like a pump and dump. It just needs to dump. I mean, that looks like a top, but it also looks like it did right here, where it comes down. Like, I mean, if we just take the exact identical move, it gaps up, sells off, gaps up, sells off. Tomorrow it might gap up and sell off again, and maybe get 3 red days. Maybe Tuesday we're right here. You bought them because they were cheap. Please don't do that ever again. If those are up, I would sell them at any point in the day. And again, this is just me. I would not let that trade go from green to red. The amount of times someone has bought something because it's cheap, and here's what also really sucks. If you don't fully understand options, don't do it. If you suck at trading in general, you're going to suck 100 times more if you get into options. There are plays that make it a lot safer and more consistent. There are plays that will evaporate your money. And if you don't know the difference, you're probably going to buy the one that evaporates your money. Statistically speaking, you're going to. Most options contracts expire worthless, like almost 80, 90% do. So you had a 10% chance you picked one that's actually going to pan out. Now, a lot of people will flip them in between, not just rock it all the way to the end. So hopefully you're good. That's what I'm saying. Don't let that green trade go red. But yeah, just remember, you can blow your coin you can blow all your money and you blow your account anytime you want. Let's just learn something first, right? The market's not going anywhere. If you're itching to just lose all your money, man, you can just let it go any day you want. But let's try to do something while you're here. Speaking of Tesla, I am in puts. Okay, so I swung puts. And they were actually up at the open. I closed them. Trying to think what I did today. Closed my puts. I sold. So I waited a little bit. I ended up getting back in puts later at the end of the day. I sold the 420 puts for tomorrow. Oh man, not right here. I sold the 420 puts as it was like breaking down. I was like, all right, here we go. I'll sell some out of the money puts for tomorrow. I got one day for this thing to sell off. I collected $6. So in options world, it's $6 per share, 100 shares. It's $600 is how much went into my account per contract. And I mean, by the time I told my Discord, it was at 900. I was like, don't even look at the price. It's silly. Like I should have sneezed. I should have coughed. I should have took a drink of water. It would have been a $300 difference had I just done that. That's how fast it moved. They are up right now. But yeah, it went from like here to here, and I was like, come on, I hate that. So anyway, I sold the 420 puts. So as long as it's above 420 tomorrow, then I keep the $600 per contract. They'll likely be up in the morning, and I might just close those out. I'm just going to let Theta do its thing overnight and then just take advantage of that play. For now, I do think Tesla is coming down to this yellow zone right here. I was late. Did you talk about Nike? Let's talk about Nike real quick. I wanted to go short Nike. I have not even seen it yet. Someone asked me in the chat, but it was 306, and I was thinking about buying some puts on it, which I'm actually glad I didn't. Had I bought puts or calls, I would have lost money on this. It went nowhere. Wow. Jumped up, hit that box, and sold off. Interesting that it even went up in the first place. I didn't think retail was going to do that well. I figured it'd be more down to this bottom yellow zone and maybe a bounce. Good thing I missed that today. Interesting. So looks like they had a good earnings. So good earnings. Guidance must not have been there. Or guidance just wasn't that bad. And here's another way you could read this. Earnings was good, but everyone took that as the opportunity to sell and get out. And then is that what everyone's doing? You know, why is everyone itching to sell right now? Let's see. I thought we sold the 440 puts yesterday. You sold 420 puts today. What did you do with the 440s? Lisa, you got to pay attention. I trailed them in the morning. They sold. They were up. Then I got back in at the end of the day. I still have the 420s sold as far as Tesla goes. I usually just do calls. I wait for a bull flag setup, look at my 10 to 20 EMA, make sure the 200 is okay under, and wait for a breakout. Okay, so a breakout play. That's not bad. If I were to take that strategy, I would go at the money 2 or 3 weeks out. You go out of the money, you'll probably be someone that I'm selling that option to. Did you draw supply and demand manually? Yes, I draw all these manually. I don't use the indicators. I just use myself. Lisa says, I am confused. Sounds like you missed something in the morning. The puts were up, so close them. New to this, is trying to figure it out. Good. Make sure you follow. We're here. What was I just about to break down? I'll do hood. Someone asked my opinion on the Google quantum computing. It's awesome. I don't think it's had its Chat GPT moment. We're just kind of like, I don't know. So we've discovered that the wheel is round as far as quantum computing goes. That's about it. I think as far as quantum computing, maybe they're learning they could attach it to 4 of them to a giant square, and we can roll a card around. I think quantum computing is still in its right now. It might be in a hype stage as far as stocks go, but as far as it being actually usable or anything like that, I think it's very early on that one. As far as hood goes, this is where I would be catching any knives. This yellow zone right here. If it breaks that, it's time to just let the sellers do their thing and pick it up cheaper when the selling stops. Do you draw supply and demand on the 4-hour or 1 hour as well for a day trade? So actually, these colors mean something. Yellow is 4-hour and daily. Blue is hourly. And when you see a purple one, we got what has weekly zones on it? Home Depot probably does. Nope. Let's go AT&T. There you go. This purple, pink, whatever you want to call it, that's a weekly zone. Bitcoin will come below 20K, my friend. Banging. Hey, make sure you're on the stream when it does. That would be Sweet. I guess. Full send. All right, let's talk about AMD and UPST. Upstart. So Upstart I bought yesterday. Now it was dipping down. I told you guys I even wanted to wait for it to get to this zone. It's like, I ended up buying it yesterday. And some people are asking today, like, hey, why didn't you buy today? Because I bought yesterday. If you watched my video on this, and for those of you guys that are on TikTok, it's on Don Franz show on YouTube. I'm going to accumulate this. This is a 6 to 12 month play right here. So the everyday intraday action, I don't care. I'm going to grab some here, like I did. And if this breaks, I do think Upstart's going to get quite a bit cheaper. To be honest, I think that when the market crashes next year, Upstart's not going to be the one that just ignores it and hangs out. Very, very small chance that happens. We're going to get it a lot cheaper. It's just worth me starting it now in case I am wrong. Okay, so I'm going to let the sellers do their thing. As long as it's trending down, I'll hang out. I'm going to buy a few shares each week. That's it. So the cheaper it goes, the more I can buy. As a trade right now, I would go long, and my stop would be 64.35. And everyone does want us. He wants us to remember his name. Remember my name, Yo Papa. I'm not even being sarcastic, but we will have to agree to disagree on that one. I don't think Bitcoin's going under 20K. Sorry, especially when Amazon buys it, Microsoft, and all the other big names. It's only 21 million coins. Can I cover how to get started in trading? I sure can. Jonathan does say 95,000 is coming. Man, oh man. I'm kidding. We'll see. 95. I thought we were already almost there. I was like, this guy's taking some risk putting that online. 100%. I am just very sarcastic. I'll probably set a limit buy at 20K. Do I plan to buy a specific number of shares to buy at certain prices, or do I just improv? It sounds so bad when you say that, but it is going to be week to week. As I sell call options, I'll take that premium and buy some. But when something's just trending down and really selling off, I have no real urgency, because the longer I stall and wait, take my time, the cheaper it gets. The reason I bought yesterday is I thought we might be really oversold and we might get that bounce. So I thought it was a good opportunity. Let's see. Do I believe AMD will continue its sell-off tomorrow? AMD, breaking that zone does suck. It'll probably rein it back in and get back up. This is the only thing that's going to get in the way of Upstart. AMD is very cheap, I think. Now I'm accumulating Upstart, but Upstart's a 6 to 12 month play. AMD is something I'm going to have in the account for a long time. So if you're following me and you're following those plays, I have AMD, and I'm not adding on to average down or anything like that. I just don't. I can't ignore cheap stuff. I like the cheap stuff. So I'm honestly, I fought trying to add on to it all day today. Here's Casey. He does not draw supply and demand. These are areas where he thinks price will do something. That would be supply and demand. Is the bull market over? Not yet. Wait till March. I do think we're wrapping things up as far as the bull market. I hope Yo Papa's still here. Hopefully he followed me. I am going to remember that name. If it goes down to 20K, I'm like, remember that one mother? He was right. And I lost a lot of money. Most of my coins are, well, the last coin I bought was at 50,000. Most of my other coins are well below, even in the teens. Don just wings it. You know. Do you deer 15-minute supply and demand as well for 5-minute day trades? Yeah. People ask for it. When you see these, Grandpa Dowd had actually the last one. These little white zones, that's 15-minute time frame. Occasionally I will, but there's a lot of noise in those lower time frames. Let's go to AMD real quick. Do I see it bleeding off to 116? I mean, AMD could literally sneeze and be at 116. It's at 118. For anybody else, as far as AMD goes, our next probably big area. Let's go to the weekly. Right here. 102. Can't wait for the DMs when it hits that price. Please don't. Please don't go any lower than that. All right. Let's worry about those levels. Ooh, 94. There's no chance I'm not going pretty ridiculous if it is 94. Casey says, I'm firing myself as the mod. Y'all were great. When to start piling on swing call for AMD? If I were to buy AMD right now, I'd probably have to go. I bought some Mara leaps for January of 2026. As far as leaps go, that's kind of where I'm at. So if I was doing that, I wouldn't pile on. I do think it'll get cheaper next year. Again, that's why there's just no real rush for me. But if I wanted to, if I'm only going to grab one, then I have to wait. If I'm going to grab multiple, then everyone's account's different. I might even grab one or two now, and then another couple later. Split it however you will. If I'm going to buy 5 total, one now, one later, and then whatever price it is, there's going to be a fire sale. That's when the 3 get added on. Right now, it would have to be a January of 2026 play if I was going to buy a call option on AMD. I would want to give it time on that one because AMD's cheap, but right now it's selling off. The market just told you we're not happy with the things that's going on. So no real rush. I wouldn't short it, but no need to go nuts. Can I move it up to 115? Why? Can we just move it up? I'll tell the market makers, don't do it past that. That chart looks bad. How oversold is it? Listen, it's not. We're on the weekly. Let's go to the daily. Daily just now hit oversold. 4 hour, we've been oversold. Can we short AMD at this level? It may go to 100, right? Personally, I wouldn't. Listen, I like to buy the red candles, and I'll short the bright green ones. But no, if I really had intentions on going short AMD, it would have to pop up. Maybe tomorrow's green, right? It pops up to the top of this zone, then I would go short. But my stop loss would be 128.35. But it would need to go green first. He says, dump it. Hey, I guess they don't call it the automatic money destroyer for nothing. All right, listen, guys, I do have to hop off. I do Zoom calls with my group on Sundays and Thursdays. I'm not trying to hit you with the sales pitch, but the donfranshow.teachable.com, that's the Teachable link, right? That's the course. If you buy the course on or before Christmas, you get lifetime everything. You're in the Discord. If you're one of those monthly payment people, then there is a Patreon. But again, if you want to check all that out, join us. Make sure you have a camera. You don't have to, but I do like seeing everybody's faces when I yell at them. Actually, it's fun. It's more than just me sitting in the basement talking to myself, hoping you're real on the other end. But anyway, I'm going to wrap it up, and I will see you beautiful people Sunday, as a matter of fact. Have a good one.